So before we get into the detail, just a little background as to why City & Guilds is championing digital credentials. First thing to say, credentials are not new. They've been around for over 15 years. But our journey with them started back in 2016, where City & Guilds invested in a specialist credential provider called Digital Me and started to explore how credentials could really benefit our learners. Since then, we've issued over 400,000 credentials, mainly alongside our traditional qualification offer as an added value to our traditional paper certificates. And we now see that over half of all ILM learners, the Institute of Leadership and Management, are now being issued with digital credentials. And we expect City & Guilds learners to hit similar numbers in the next 2 years. Now, like many new initiatives, it's taken a while to establish a market, but we do know now that the market is starting to grow significantly, with worldwide over 50 million credentials being issued worldwide and growing at a very, very fast rate. And that has been accelerated in the last couple of years with everything that's been going on with the pandemic. And some research that we've recently carried out with some of our learners, especially those under the age of 30, show that actually they want to receive their recognition digitally, and definitely something we would encourage you to start talking to your learners about. We're not saying that paper is no more, but certainly the direction of travel we believe is digital. So we would encourage you to speak to your learners about how they would want to receive their recognition. So what is a digital credential for those that are not aware? The first thing to say, it's not just about the issuing of a digital badge or the credential itself. And please don't really worry about the term badge or credential. At City & Guilds, we tend to use the term credential, but they are used interchangeably. What's really important about the credentials is about the opportunities that they create. And you'll see on the screen there's a definition that I personally like from the Lumina Foundation back in 2015. I'll just give you a quick chance to read and digest it. So the key words to me are about it being a documented award issued by an authorised body, in the case it's City & Guilds, to show that an individual has met a specific learning outcome. And we'll take you through some examples in a minute of what they actually look like. And you'll also see on the screen that there are 5 visuals which show the 5 current categories within our own personal credential taxonomy of what we issue credentials against. So there's one around brand awareness, one around learning and development, there's one around certification, which some of you will probably be more familiar with, professional profiles, which is recognition of individuals' own achievements, and then also organisational relationships. So if you dig a bit deeper into each credential, what you will actually see, it's packed with lots of useful information which can really support an earner's journey. So in some ways it includes information you'd find on a traditional paper certificate, such as the qualification title, the grade, the date of issue, expiry date, but it also provides much more valuable information for the learner, such as a description of the credential, skills the earner should be able to demonstrate, potential age restrictions, and also the criteria which the learner has met to earn the credential, including detailed descriptions of the learning outcomes they have met to receive them. So actually, what does this really look like in real life? So you'll see on the screen here a real life example of a digital credential for one of our electrical qualifications. I think it's the 18th edition wiring regulations. You can see the visual design for the credential, which has the title, the qualification number, and would show a grade, but in this case the qualification is only a pass or fail. You'll also see on the right hand side the title of the qualification, that it was issued by City & Guilds, and then a description of the qualification, and below that the skills the learner will be able to demonstrate, and below that, the earning criteria that is met to achieve the digital credentials. And we'll give you a proper demo, a live example. My colleague Matt Rogers will take you through that. But it's the skills tags that I would really point out on this one, on this page, because it links to real-time job opportunities being advertised in those areas. And this is the bit that we think is really quite interesting. And certainly when we go out and talk to our customers and our employers, it's the bit that really kind of they're interested in. So what do we see as the benefits of credentials? There are lots, don't get me wrong, but I would just highlight a couple. You'll see them on the screen. So for our centres, making sure that your certification is current. As I mentioned earlier, our research showed that most young learners want to receive their recognition digitally. They like paper, but actually we live in obviously a very digital world. So them being able to receive a credential digitally, share it, download it to their phone is quite exciting. It can help your learners find real-time local job opportunities or apprenticeships linked to the skills that they have already achieved. And the other thing that's starting to gain more traction is it can help your learners stand out from the crowd, either, as I said, by sharing them on social media, by allowing them to add the credentials to the CV. And we are starting within City and Guilds now, starting to have people who apply for jobs here who are not only just sending a blank CV, they are sending in links to their digital credentials, which is quite interesting. And some recent research that we carried out with learners showed that over a quarter of the learners who had received a digital credential had created potential new opportunities since claiming and sharing their credential on LinkedIn, on Facebook, etc. For employers, the feedback on what they really value is around the ability to verify the digital credential in real time to ensure that it's current or valid, and most importantly allows them to really unpick a learner's achievement through use of the information in the metadata, which they don't get with a traditional certificate. So they're able to unpick, well, actually, what did this learner do to earn this credential, the skills that they've got. And a lot of our qualification credentials also have really quite detailed learning outcomes as to what the learner would have studied before they actually achieved the credential. For the learners themselves, from research, you know, there's lots of benefits, but again, these are the key ones that they identify with. The link to real-time job opportunities is critical, helping the learners into a job or onto the next one, but also a central place to record all of their achievements, which as they go through life, they can build to, and as I said, even download into their iPhone wallet. We know youngsters like to share their success on social media. The ability to share credentials on Facebook, LinkedIn, and other social media platforms whilst raising their own profile is something that they are very keen to do. And you will probably, if you go on LinkedIn, or a frequent user of, you will start to see them appearing very frequently. And then lastly, a kind of slightly smaller benefit, it means also no more lost certificates. It means that learners can showcase their skills and what they've learned to potential employers. If like you did your O-levels, you've probably misplaced your certificates, but if you've got them digitally saved onto your phone, you've always got that record should you need them.